connect with anyone. I keep everybody.
All right.
Ready to be baptized.
I'd like to call to order a meeting of the Summers Board of Selectmen. Today is Thursday, April 2nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. We're in Town Hall Auditorium. This meeting's being streamlined. First of all, please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So for roll call this evening, we have Selectman Meyer on my right, Selectman Schmidt on my left. We have Brian Wissinger, CFO, at the table, Kim LaFleur, Ops Director. Dave Marty's going to be here at 6:15, he tells me, Town Clerk. Ray Stovall, our Fire Chief. Todd Rolland, our Public Works Director and EMD Director. Frank Poirier, Deputy EMD Director. Sean Curtis, Chairman of the Economic Development Commission. And Paul Hart from the Board of Finance. And our speakers, Mr. Kritzky and his son Louise. Okay, so roll call. Let's see. Public comment. You're up. Mr. Scott Kritzky.
I promise I'll be brief tonight.
Okay.
All right, so you already have what Kim sent you. So, just to continue on with that, what I'm asking you guys to do with Fair Rent Commission. A couple additional thoughts to that is that landlord should have a current credit report on file with the town. The list of the repair companies they use, and this one's kind of important, very important actually. We all know that a lot of businesses, institutional buyers and stuff, incorporate as LLCs. I found one landlord here in town who has 16 apartments. Every one of them is incorporated as an LLC. And then over in Enfield, he has 36 apartments, and every one of them is incorporated as an LLC. As I talked about, the tax records can give a lot of information about the condition of the buildings and stuff. This guy's such a slumlord that one building that he has in Enfield, it's not in Summers, but one building he has is only 33% of the structure in good shape, according to tax records. People like that need to start being under the magnifying glass. And that's all I'm going to do tonight. Give you my thoughts on where we need to be going with the Fair Rent Commission.
Thanks for your comments. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Any other public comment this evening? Presentations by myself. I've got three things I wanted to mention. First of all, we had sort of a listening session this Tuesday evening at the library, hosted by Senator Kissel and Representative Bale. A community meeting, probably had about 80 people present. Lasted for about an hour and a half, and good session. They were both very answered many questions people had. Tried to explain some of the current issues before the legislature, and it was a good session. On Wednesday, I attended the Government Oversight Committee in Hartford with the state legislature, and gave testimony that related to the deed restrictions we're looking for that related to the 3-acre parcel on Bilton Road. We've already received permission to get it from the state, but we're trying to get it at less than fair market value because it's the deed restrictions that limit its use. That went well. And one thing I'd like to clarify is with regards to, I mentioned this before the Board of Finance, Woodcrest 3 is something we're considering. Woodcrest Phase 3, that is. As I mentioned to them, the wind development project sort of fell off the radar about 2 months ago because the Connecticut Fair Housing Authority said basically it was too much money, too costly for them to support. So that no longer became a viable project. So an internal committee decided to look into the possibility of a Woodcrest Phase 3, and this would be located, by the way. The important thing here, the clarification is, location would be adjacent to Phase 1 and Phase 2. The town owns property up there. There is room to build, and we've been working with the Summers Housing Authority, Dave Pinney, to speak about how to proceed. So I just want to make sure that somehow there was thinking that Phase 3 for the Woodcrest was going to go at the Somersville Mill site, and that's not correct. So just want to make that clarification. Consent agenda. Appointment of Frank Poirier as the Department of Administrative Management, the Deputy Administrative Management Director to the Emergency Preparedness Advisory Council. The term expiring on December 22nd, 2026. Somebody want to make that motion?
Yeah, I have to make the motion to appoint Frank Poirier, Deputy Emergency Management Director, to the Emergency Preparedness Advisory Council for the term expiring on 12/22/26.
Second it.
Any further discussion? All those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, Frank.
Congratulations, Frank.
Yeah, no more pay. I forgot to mention that part. Yeah.
It's voluntary, but volunteer.
Okay, we also have an opportunity to add urgent agenda items, and I believe we have one. It's a memorandum of agreement between the town of Summers and Mr. Derek Weiss, a Summers firefighter.
Make a motion to add to the agenda the discussion and possible action on a memorandum of agreement between the town of Summers and the Summers Local 4284 IAFF and Mr. Derek Weiss.
Second.
Very good. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. So let's see here. Finance, transfers and appropriations, we have none.
None.
CFO's finance report, an update.
So yesterday, Tuesday, sorry. Tuesday. This week's been a blur. Tuesday, we closed on a ban for the roads in town. We received 4 bids. We were for
This is
$2
for a
million.
bond you're talking about, right?
Yeah, this is a bond anticipation note. It's not a full issuance. It's an early note that will turn into a bond later in time. This was a 1-year note for $2 million. We received 4 bids. Fidelity Capital Market was our lowest bid, 2.73% for our interest costs. We were thoroughly pleased actually with all 4 bids. 3 of them were under 3%. One was at 3.5. But 3 bids under 3% after everything that was going on. They had actually emailed us last week to see if we were still interested in even pursuing this sale. They were seeing interest rates going up 30 and 40 bips, and they weren't sure we wanted to continue. I said, let's go for it. Why not? And it's a good thing we did because we.
And Brian, what's this for?
This is for the road paving for this year.
Oh, the road paving?
Yep.
Repairs.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping to get my road paved.
We're waiting for that.
I know you're sick of hearing about it.
You think that's going to help?
So depending on what happens between with the HVAC project over the next 12 months, we'll determine whether or not in April of next year we just roll this right into a bond, or if April of next year we issue like a 6-month note and pave the roads and wait until we have a more completed HVAC project before we issue a bond.
How do you expect the HVAC project to proceed as far as bonding is concerned?
My goal right now is to have a pretty solid idea of where we will be this time next year when we're looking to, when this note comes due. If we have a pretty solid idea at that point, then we would move forward and issue a bond at that point, and for the roads that we would owe for, upcoming roads, and the HVAC project. If the HVAC project's still kind of, an undecided, we're not majorly completed with the project at that time, then we'll just continue to float notes 6 months at a time until we have a more substantially completed project before we issue the actual bond, because we don't want to issue the bond for more than we need, because then you're charging people interest on money that all you're doing is turning around and paying back to the bank.
And that interest rate would be set next year?
If that interest rate gets set when we issue the bond. Yep. Yep. So depending, again, you could play the rate game as well. If this time next year the rates are not looking good, you can float a ban in anticipation of hoping that the rates are better later on. If the rates are great, it may be the time to strike and just hope for the best.
Anything else?
That's it.
Great, thank you. Presentation of scheduled payments.
If you make a motion to authorize the payments in the amount of $344,201.20.
I believe these payments include some excess cost payments as well.
They do.
And what's the amount of those?
It totals $44,191.
It's higher than that. Hold on.
It is? We got
Yep.
three of them. Edelbrook, Inc., Hartford Healthcare, and Manchester Board of Education.
And Vanpool.
I can see that one.
Yep. It's $71,791.92.
Okay. So I have been in communication with both the Board of Ed and Board of Finance, making progress. They've asked for more time to answer some of the questions. I think maybe for the next meeting they'll be ready, but I think it'd just be best to table it until we get some of the responses, and then we can take it up, both of them, the one from last meeting and this meeting at our...
These are the same questions you gave them over 2 weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, yeah. And it's going to take them a little bit of time to answer. I'm hoping they maybe have something next week, so...
Okay. Great.
So I think, Bob, if you're okay, could we adjust it down to the amount, take the excess cost out, and then we'll pick up excess cost at our next meeting in 2 weeks?
That's fine, yeah.
Brian's doing the math.
So what's the
right now.
amount then? You can
Brian's doing
tell
the
me
math
what
right
the
now.
amount is.
Yeah.
$272,409.28.
272.
409.28.
409.
409.28.
And that would remove the excess cost payments?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, that's the approval portion, and the rest would be tabled until further.
Okay. You want to make it, Bob, or you want me to?
Go ahead.
So I'd make a motion to approve the payment authorization in the amount of $272,409.28 as discussed.
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you.
We'll sign it too.
Yeah.
Before we forget. Brian has to drive to our house to get our signatures.
Let's write this down here. So next we have updates from boards and commissions. I think we have none of those. Old business, we have none. New business, accept the resignation of Derek Weiss from a full-time fire EMT position, effective April 19, 2026, and approve his return to part-time firefighter EMT status, effective the same day. Chief Stowell.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Good
So
evening.
Derek was hired full-time on the 22nd of last month. He did accept a new job with Pratt & Whitney Fire. It's more money, better benefits. Can't really argue with that. We would like him to go back to part-time. He would like to go back to part-time, but we will have to approve the MOA with the union in order to do that. The reason for that is because there's language in the contract that states when a full-timer goes back to part-time, they're held at their current rate of pay. Being that Derek was only full-time for a couple weeks, I think it's appropriate that he would go back to his part-time rate.
Agreed.
So he's in agreement with that. We just have to do it the right way, have the MOA signed. So I would like to make the motion that you guys accept his resignation, allow him to go back to part-time pending the signature of the MOA.
Makes sense.
Yeah, sounds good.
And if he didn't agree to that, we would have to terminate him, which we don't want to do because he's a great
Yeah.
Absolutely.
contribution to the fire department.
Absolutely.
So I'd make a motion to accept the resignation of Derek Weiss from the full-time firefighter EMT position effective April 19, 2026, and approve his return to part-time firefighter EMT status effective the same date, contingent upon the execution of the MOU or the MOA to be presented.
Second.
Thank you, Lord. Next, I would like to make a recommendation.
We got to vote.
Oh, sorry.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you.
Do you want to take up the MOA now, or do you want to?
Yeah, why don't we just do it right now?
Okay, so I'd make a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement between the town of Summers, the Summers Local 4284, and Mr. Derek Weiss as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next thing I'd like to bring up
So
is...
I can sign this for the town, of course. Go
So
ahead.
next, I'd like to bring up the hiring of Sean Kadzis. He was a strong number 2 in the hiring process. Sean has been a part-timer with us for just as long as Derek, so a solid year now. He's shown great growth. He's a very energetic kid, and I think he will be a great addition to the department. His start date would be May 3rd at the rate of the contract.
Do we have his resume in the packet? I don't see it.
Oh, I did not say.
Yeah, if you could send him in the future. I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
fine approving it
Yeah.
without it, but just for the future, it's nice to see some of their...
Absolutely, I apologize.
Do we have to put down what his rate of pay is or anything like that?
It'll just follow the contract, yep.
Good.
Is there, and I'm doing this, well, I can't search because it's a scanned document, there's no probationary period when they move from part-time to full-time, is there?
I believe it's another 6 months.
Is it?
Yeah, any change of position is 6 months.
I would think, yeah, same like if they made lieutenant, if they made whatever.
Yep.
Could we make a contingency on the hire that if he moves back to part-time, the same kind of MOA agrees, or do we need to do, like, if that happened, would we have to do another MOA? Could we make it, like, if there's any kind of change in service before the end of his probationary? I don't know.
I think you would have to do an MOA per person until it's addressed in the
Okay.
next CBA.
In the next CBA, I think you're right.
All right. It was worth a shot.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen again. It's a very
Hopefully it
rare
doesn't
thing.
happen
Exactly,
again.
yeah.
Hopefully not.
It's a very rare thing.
It really is.
I mean,
Okay.
We have to make a motion to...
Yeah, go ahead.
So what would actually be the stated? Why don't you make the motion again, so I'll
Sure. The motion would be to hire Sean Kadzis as a full-time firefighter EMT with a start date of May 3rd, with the rate appropriate in the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So you're making that motion.
Yeah, I'm making that motion.
Great.
and I'll second it.
And any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you.
Just want to make sure I got it right.
One quick update on our ambulance situations. I know it's been a very fluid. and
Which
challenging-
situation?
The ambulance situation.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a very fluid and challenging time. We are currently still down to one ambulance. Ambulance 746, which is our second newest ambulance, is in service. Ambulance 646 is at the station waiting to be sent out for a DOT inspection. And ambulance 5, which is the new one we have, is still back at the company. They've addressed addressed the electrical issue with it. They believe they have that figured out. The next issue is the liquid spring lowering suspension. They were able to replicate the issue today, and they have the company working on it to fix it.
Have we started, like, through an attorney to document some of these issues? I mean, I see this going in the direction of the lemon law.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we have the appropriate documentation so that, because it's 3 major defects, I think?
It's been about 2 months at the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think by law, I think it's 3 major defects, and then we can trigger the lemon law.
So I'm working with Carl.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for, thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, Marty wants to speak with regards to our next item, which is a request to hire Courtney Spazzarini as a part-time assistant clerk.
Oh, thank you.
Start date of May 4, 2026.
I got it right there.
Thank you.
I'll get you back.
Bob and Bill, because I knew the rest of you did. All right. First, I want to just share with you guys that I was very pleasantly surprised at the number of candidates and a few real high caliber candidates that we had a final interview with. And one just fit the bill so perfectly. It was amazing. Deb always calls me Lucky Dave, and it's Lucky Dave once again. Courtney Spazzarini already has her certification. She's a CCTC. She has 10 years experience in the town clerk's office. She started out in Bolton and has worked in South Windsor. And in Ellington, her last spot was in Ellington as a per diem employee. She's kind of was a stay-at-home mom where she's had 2 young children, 4 and 2 years old. She does have family members that can help with the daycare. She also is a notary. She's familiar with land record software that we use. There's like 3 or 4 different softwares that different towns use. She's familiar with the one that we use. And she said the part-time is ideal for her. And she lives in Hazardville, the 10-minute commute. And excellent references from the other town clerks I spoke to that she's worked with, and title searchers that have come in, and people that come in to do recordings for law firms. They all know her, says she's fantastic, and we're so lucky to have gotten her. So she is starting on May 4th. And that particular day, I'm actually going out on prostate surgery, and I'll be out that week. So she's going to work the first week with Deb. She came in this morning at 10. She spent some time with Tim. Tim maybe can make some comments, and spent some time with Deb and myself. And we're already getting her set up with all her logins and credentials and all the paperwork to the Secretary of State to have her be an assistant town clerk, and with Vitals, all the documentation to get her being able to log into those systems. So
she's comfortable for filling in for you while you're on vacation.
Yeah,
is that correct?
yes, she is.
That's important because she'll be the only person in the office.
Yeah, and she could work full-time those weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yep, we already cleared that.
What's the rate of pay?
we're going with the $30, the top of the scale because of all her experience and certification already.
I did meet with her this morning, and she is definitely an outstanding candidate.
One thing I want to say is that Deb had offered, and the offer's on the table, that, you know, even when after she retires, if she was needed, we could call on her as either the per diem type of situation like was that Courtney had done in Ellington, or if she could stay on payroll as kind of inactive on payroll if it was executed. That's something we can discuss.
Per diem would be the best route there.
Yeah.
But kind of for our emergency plan, that'd be a good emergency plan.
Definitely.
Our current emergency plan is we've kind of gotten Karen Neal
Are you
on
asking
board.
for that this evening, for the board to appoint her per diem? Is that what
It's
you're
not on the agenda, so
Well, I didn't know if they want, I
they'd have to add it.
Can that be done this evening without it being an agenda item?
Well, you can add it, but
We could add it. It could
we
be
can add
added.
it to the next board of selectmen.
We could take it in
But you-
2 weeks,
I
too.
was
Yeah.
going to say, you need a recommended rate, so you need
Oh,
to find out what
okay.
that would
Okay.
be as well.
All right, so we'll look at that next week.
But the reasons for that was that there was a situation where Courtney and myself were both out of commission for some reason. If we were both sick in town, or if one of us was on a vacation overseas and the other person got sick, it's really good to have kind of an emergency plan, especially with 1.5 people in the department. And So that's pretty much it. I'm really excited.
Me too.
And then one last comment before I leave is that I just want to let you know that we have a new justice of the peace, that the Democratic Town Committee brought forward a person that was a justice of peace in the past and kind of gone inactive. She expressed an interest in coming back on board, and with Buddy Devlin's passing, we kind of did the paperwork to pull Buddy out and replace her with Laura Milwaukee. So she's going to be coming in on Monday and be sworn in as a new JP.
Is this something the board needs to approve, or no?
No, it's not. It's not. This is kind of an FYI.
Informational, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. We need a motion to
I'd make a motion to hire Courtney Bezzarini as the part-time assistant town clerk with a start date of May 4th, 2025.
and salary.
$30.
Salary of $30 an hour.
Yep.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
Aye.
Passes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Director Rowland.
Good evening.
Approval of updates to the building use policy.
Yes, come to a request that this body update the building use policy. I think you have it in front of you. We haven't updated since 2015.
Right.
There's some updates, minor updates, a little bit of language, and also things like Kibbe Fuller. Priority 1 would just be Rec and Human Services, who are over there and use the building. Priority 2 would be boards, commissions, and advisory groups. We used to have it more open, but since we built out the offices, there's no space over there for other groups. The next item is on page 3 is Kibbe Fuller, the gazebo. Again, Rec and Human Services would be priority 1. Priority 2 would be the Cultural Commission, who use it for their concerts on the green. Priority 3 would be civic groups. Summer Senior Center, the only difference would be adding the senior and recreation programs to that line. The biggest change is on page 4, and really which prompted us to relook at this building use policy. It's around the splash pad, which is not part of the building use policy as it currently is. And the incidents we've had, as other towns have had, with the Enfield daycare that has shown up in the past with 60 kids and want to use the splash pad. At the same time, our day camp is using the splash pad, which creates a safety issue with there being too many people, and we've had to have the police come and ask them to leave because they have not. They just show up with 2 buses of kids and as a public park. Well, that's true, but the intent is, what you're doing is unsafe. So we'd like to include the splash pad, tennis courts, and volleyball courts in the building use policy. Priority 1 would be Summers Rec, obviously. Priority 2, then we would also have a policy that the park is unavailable for organized field trips or group outings without prior written approval from the Recreation Department. And any school, camp, child care provider, or organized group must get permission before planning a visit. Failure to do this will result in denial of park access.
So that means you can deny them whether you're using it or not.
Correct.
Right.
Well, it's like the gazebo. You need to get a permit if you're going to have an
Right.
organized event at the gazebo, and you pay us for it. It's the same idea.
Right.
If the park, and they come in the summer when the day camps are on during the week, and it's heavily utilized, it becomes a safety issue. The rationale there is what I just described on why we want to do it. And then there's, down to the bottom of page 4, no smoking. We also would like to include vaping products in there, as well as marijuana and THC-containing products, which are not part of the building use policy as present.
Excellent.
Just reviewed by the town attorney.
No, I have not sent it to Carl.
I think we should have him review. I think we can approve it contingent on
Pending
his
his-
review.
Okay.
But, I think these are good revisions. Just there is some legality to some of this.
Yeah.
Because there's immunities, defenses, and all that stuff, that we just got to make sure we preserve all of our rights.
Okay.
But I think definitely this is the right direction.
Okay, we can table it till next week, or till,
No, we can approve it. I mean, I'm fine with,
Why don't we just approve it, then
pending,
contingent
pending
upon.
nothing untoward from the town attorney.
yeah, I mean, minor revisions I'm fine with. I mean, I'd like to see his recommendation.
Okay.
Blessing. So I'd make a motion to approve the updates to the building use policy as presented, contingent upon approval of the town attorney.
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd.
I'm up next.
You're the rest of the agenda.
Other than the last item.
Oh, yeah, other than the last time.
My next item is to accept the resignation of Luke Bolduc. He's a maintainer that's been with us for about a year and a half. He's been offered a position with a private construction company, heavy construction company, which will afford him the opportunity for a lot more experience in trucking and heavy equipment use. And he's young. I encourage all of the young guys to go out in the world and really experience construction to the full, whereas you don't get that when you're a maintainer here in Summer. So we wish him well. He's been a great employee, lives in town. This is a great opportunity for him, and he really needs to take it. So he's tendered his resignation effective April 10th.
Happy to make a motion to accept the resignation of Luke Bolduc, maintainer with the Public Works Department, effective April 10th, 2026.
Second it.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Just so you guys are aware, at the next Board of Selectmen meeting, we'll have a payout for his vacation time. He's not eligible for sick underneath the new policy, but he does have a handful of vacation hours, so that'll be on the next one.
We won't have any follows for here.
Oh, good.
So I'll send those documents out again, just.
Yep. Good.
Very good. Okay, next on the agenda is to accept the resignation of Maureen Parcell, Director of Recreation and Leisure Services, effective April 17, 2026. Maureen has been with us as the Rec and Leisure Services Director for 5 years and 3 months. She's done, I think, a great job. She's really brought life into that office and really managed an excessive number of programs and created new ones as well. We're going to miss her, I think, and we have posted the job, correct?
Actually, we got like 30 now.
Really?
Good to hear.
Well, when we're going to miss her?
Yep.
She did a great job.
I think she's just looking for a breather.
That's what she told me.
Yeah. So, we have a motion to accept her resignation.
I'd have to make a motion to accept the resignation of Maureen Parcell, Director of Recreation and Leisure Services, effective April 17, 2026.
Second it.
All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Are we going to appoint an interim at the next meeting?
Yeah, we're going to do that. We'll still have time to do that.
Yeah, we should have an interim probably the next
Yeah, it's the
meeting.
day before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We already
We're planning on that.
I figured you did. I just wanted to make sure.
Guess who that person is? Yeah, right. Mr. Rollins.
I have all these baseball hats I'm going to get Todd.
So you've had about every single hat
What
in
you
the
do,
town.
Kim, is you just get one that's got it all the way around, so
Oh,
you can
that's-
just spin it to
Yeah.
whichever.
And a few hats a few times.
We appreciate it, Todd.
Thank you.
Anyhow.
So we have adjusted this. We're requesting the approval of payout.
Yep.
Comp time accrued per union contract in the amount of $2,432.26 for Chief Ray Stovall.
Yep, I went back and reviewed the contract, and Danny clarified it for me that the hours that are accrued are at 1.5 hours, so we would pay it at regular time. So the regular rate was $39.23 an hour at the time of promotion. So that times the 62 hours that are there is the $2,432.26.
Good catch on that.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve the payout of comp time accrued for the union contract in the amount of $2,432.26 to Chief Ray Stovall as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion? All those support say aye. Aye. Aye, motion passes.
That'll be in next week's payroll, and if
Yes.
it's messed up, it's my fault because I'm doing payroll.
Oh, she's at Tyler Connect?
She's at Tyler Connect next week, so.
Yeah, Brian's doing payroll next week.
I got a whole group going.
Everybody,
Nice.
bye.
Las Vegas.
Yep.
Excellent.
Wow, who's going to Las Vegas?
Danny.
Danny.
Yeah,
They're
it's a
having
Venetian,
the
too.
Tyler, the Tyler conference.
Oh, I was there last time.
It's a great conference, though. I mean, it's worth
Yeah.
it. I mean, it really, for the financial system, there's no
Yeah,
better.
no, this is her
training.
third time going, and
Yeah, she
every
does a lot.
time that she's gone, she's come back with something, something that we could be doing better.
And that's
And
how you
so-
did the time and attendance. was
Yeah,
after
that's how
she
we
came to
landed
the
on time and attendance.
Yeah, it's a good investment, definitely.
Good to hear. Approval of minutes of the March 19 special meeting of the Board of Selectmen.
I have one correction.
Okay,
Under the presentations by First Selectman
okay.
of the Eagle Scout,
Yeah, did I spell his name?
I believe it's spelled
Are
the
you
same.
kidding me?
So I think it's Dan Durand.
Dan Durand, you're right.
I can't get that kid's name right.
A-N-D, Dan Durand.
That's right, he's not the name of a band member or a
Yes.
band.
Dan Durand.
But if we could just correct his name.
Okay, yeah, I think I did that, like,
Okay, probably spell check probably changed it. You probably had it right and it probably overwrote
I don't
it.
know.
No, you're giving her a lot of credit.
It's Teddy, yeah, he goes by
Teddy is Dan Durand, yes.
Dan Durant.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
okay. That's funny.
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye. Aye. Motion passes, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Thank you.
6:36. Not too bad.
Speedy Gonzalez.